Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. The countdown to the off-season elections. We're in the middle of that night. It's Wednesday now. The elections are on Saturday, so we have just Thursday and Friday to go. Today we should be staying in Bayelsa State, and we hope to be meeting up with the former Commissioner for Education in Delta, I beg your pardon, in Bayelsa. He also is a director of the Elders Campaign Council of the PDP, Governorship Election Council. This same gentleman is a pioneer member of Bayelsa State House of Assembly. He's in the person of Dr. O.O. In fact, I could say Dr. O.O.O.O.N., but actually it's properly called as Honorable Dr. O.O. Osusu, who happens to be an officer of the Order of the Niger. All of that as soon as we can, connect up with him. But for the moment, towards this election, the Joy Youth Congress recently held a march, a road walk, actually, a road walk for peace against election violence. That sort of indicates some of the concerns that are going to need to be addressed and hopefully managed successfully in the election on Saturday. Let's see that report.
Marching through the Melfodo Kilo Road in the capital city of Yenagoa, the Ijo Youth Council Central Zone is out to preach peace and ensure a violent-free exercise during the November 11 governorship election in Bayelsa State. With the pockets of violence already reported in some parts of the state, the sensitization campaign is deemed necessary to discourage the use of young people to disrupt the electioneering process taking place over the weekend.
In various capacities, we've come together today to go around the streets of Yenagoa to conscientize the youth of Ijo youths that election must not be taken violently. Everybody should go out and vote, no matter your political affiliation.
We are advising all our brothers, anybody that gives you gun to fight, tell the person to go and give it to his children. We don't fight, we don't kill, we don't want to kill our brother because of election.
Arriving at the Ijo House, the members of the IYC are asked to spread the message of peace as politicians are warned against the use of illegal firearms to promote violence during the election.
As a zone, we will not condone any political party, be it A, B, or C, that will encourage any of our youth to carry arms. We have set up a legal committee who are going to follow anybody who we hear or see promoting violence. As a joint nation, like I said, we are one before any political party. I will continue to be one as a joint nation.
You go and indulge in any form of electoral violence. When your life is taken, these politicians will see leave. Their parents, their children are not here. Their children are in different parts of the world, enjoying themselves. So our own message is that every youth should not be allowed to carry any form of arm against his or her brother. This turnout has shown that truly the youth will not be part and parcel of the violence that have been happening in past. And also we condemn the several killings in Nimbe.
With the Anti-Violence Electoral Committee set up by the IYC, the body hopes to promote a free and credible election in Bayelsa State. Joseph Kunde, TVC News, Yenagoa.
Okay, so there you have it, a sort of a prelude. And as I said, our guest who is getting ready, Dr. O.O. Osusu, O.O.N., will be joining us. His candidate, him being a Director Elders Council of the PDP State Campaign Council in Bayelsa, it goes without saying that his candidate is going to be is indeed the incumbent governor. In fact, it is thought that in Bayelsa, it's a two-horse race, but maybe one should expand the field to refer to it as a three-horse race. Because on the one hand, there's the candidate, the incumbent, as I've said, Governor Duere Diri of the PDP. There's also Timmy Silva, the candidate of APC and former governor, and also a senator. And then there's also, well, seen as something of a dark horse, perhaps, is the APC candidate Udenga Eradiri of Labour Party. Well, when people talk like that, it's because the first two contestants that I spoke about have elaborate structures. Timmy Silva, having been a governor before, has said on the campaign trail that there's very little that is new to him. He's highly experienced, and he indeed wants the job. And he believes that he is well known among the electorate in Delta State. Now, it is felt that the Udenga Eradiri of Labour Party might be able to, garner capital from the arguable popularity that Peter Obi of Labour Party has brought to bear in the elections so far. And maybe he'll be able to garner that. But the incumbent Governor Dueye Diri, he is the guy that most men are looking at. I imagine that Silva will see it differently. So all of that is the way it is now aligned. There are a number of factors that are going to affect how the election might go. In terms of campaign, as soon as we can speak with our guest this morning, in terms of what the strategy is, of course, the incumbent, Governor Dueye Diri, he's going to be relying on the fact of being the incumbent, but his opposition, in the person of Silva of the APC, is probably going to be looking at the fact that, well, first of all, he's going to be referring to him as the miracle governor. All Nigerians know what that is all about. His Excellency, the governor himself, christened himself the miracle governor, as he came into that office, circumstances, the law, and all of that. Most Nigerians know the story. And so, unexpectedly, he became the governor. And now he's looking for another term. There are Silva, as I was saying, probably will be saying that, but for fortune, he wouldn't have been governor. And he's probably going to be questioning, so what has the governor been able to do in terms of alleviating the poverty? It is known that there is multi-dimensional poverty in Bayelsa State, going by the Bureau of Statistics. And when you consider the takings, as it were, the revenues that have been allocated to Bayelsa State, and there will be arguments as to how well these monies have indeed been used to better the lot of the people. So that is one of the aspects that I imagine that his opponents will be looking at, because the contention is that not very much has changed in terms of the actual, well-being and status of the people of Bayelsa State. I am sure that the governor himself or his spokespeople are going to be seeing matters quite differently. So that's generally, we shall of course want to know from, the spokespeople in the person of Honorable Dr. Osusu, when we get to speak with him, what the play is going to be like. What is it that you're going to put on display? Or, well, by now it's too late to be putting on display anything, because people have been seeing him in the past 4 years and is now seeking a re-election. So what has been done that assures them that they don't have to worry too much about the contenders? As I said, the main ones being the APC candidate, and indeed, if you want, you can also look at the LP candidate. Some, rightly or wrongly, will see that as something of a distant position, because Bayelsa State has traditionally been known as a PDP state. Although, Governor Silva, former Governor Silva, he's also well known in the place. All of that is what we shall be talking about as soon as we can get hold, and you can see that we're having something of a difficulty yet, as soon as we can get hold of, okay, but in the meantime, Mr. George in Ikeja, okay, let's do it. Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yuri.
Good morning.
Yes, this Bayelsa election, you say we should concentrate on Bayelsa.
Yes.
I
Although you can,
yes.
Yes, but we're in Bayelsa this morning.
Yes. So I think it is best to allow the game to play out itself, because each group or each camp.
I can hardly hear you, Mr. George, but it's not your fault. But please continue speaking.
Yeah, each camp you bring to the studio will be boasting, we will do this, we are doing this, and boasting. But one thing is common about insecurity. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, security. And one will want to ask, how is it that it is security everybody is talking about there? How did it come about? And how can it be arrested? Every camp is talking about security of the election.
Yes.
That was why technology was introduced into these elections.
Mm-hmm.
But it appears that insecurity is another issue that has to be addressed in spite of the technology that is being introduced into the elections. So, for me, I just want to wait till that Saturday and see how it will play out. We have seen what the law enforcement agents are doing to ensure that people will not be afraid to come out to vote.
Yeah.
If they succeed like that, then let us see who is going to win. I looked at the result of the last election in Bayelsa State, and I saw that the other camp, that is the opposition there now, they won that election convincingly. And they were just about to install the governor when the Supreme Court said, no, his deputy had an issue with paper
his credentials, yes.
Yes, and because of that, the governor, whose papers were in order, cannot be installed since it's a joint ticket. Uncle Yori, I just want to use this opportunity to debate this one with you.
Okay.
The qualification to become a president of this country, according to our constitution, is a school certificate or something equivalent. If you now find that somebody has issues with his NYSC certificate or a degree certificate, but the basic requirement of a school certificate has no issues, should that person be disqualified? When the one that the Constitution prescribes has no issues, but any additional qualification that he had, you found something wrong with that. Should it be judged on that one or the basic one? I think the lawyers should come in and help us out of this.
Indeed.
Then, I don't know if you will allow me to say something about Imo.
Okay, we spoke about Imo. Yeah, it's an off-cycle election. Let's talk about it.
Yes. What is going on in Imo needs to be emphasized again, because I am not in Imo. I didn't hear from Imo, but I have my men on the ground there. What is happening there? What Labour is trying to introduce into elections in Imo is starting in Imo, and this is the time to nip it in the bud. The Labour Union in Nigeria has to choose whether they want to play politics or they want to play unionism. They can't play the two at the same time. You cannot be a part of an election, and a few days to the election, you say that state must be brought down. Who will be? There is no governor that will allow that one to happen. The governor has a responsibility to ensure that there is orderliness in the state, especially when an election is coming up. You had all the 3 years before. You didn't know that there was going to be a resolution of a labor issue until a week to an election. And you are probably sensing that you cannot win the election. Now you want to bring the state down. That should not be allowed.
Indeed.
Now, the same labor is saying the country as a whole must be brought down because of one state. The labor leader was in Imo State. And the labor in Imo State was not in tandem with what he came there for. and then a scuffle ensued. You're now saying that you are going to bring down the whole country.
Yeah, well,
Because your
we got to be
leader
careful.
who was
We got to be careful. You're talking
on
about
a
the Labour
nation that
Congress.
was not
Labour Congress.
necessary. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry to say the president is becoming too lenient for my liking.
Yeah, but you were talking about the Labour Congress. When you just said Labour by way of shorthand, you mean the Nigeria Labour Congress?
Yes, NLC.
Okay.
NLC, I mean, Mr. Ajero is their president, isn't he?
It is.
He's the one. Yes, he's the one, and he is from Imo State. So you want to bring down the state because your candidate of choice probably doesn't have a chance to win this election. Okay. And that's what they are doing also at the national level. At first, they told us government must do this, government must do that. Government is doing all those things. They are no longer talking about payment of money or removal of subsidies. Now it is because somebody has touched their president. They want to bring down the whole country.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. George.
Services are not usually put up during
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in and also for commenting on the Bayelsa election that we're still waiting for our guest for. But of course, you also went to the matter of Imo, which also is one of those off-cycle elections. But to return to the Bayelsa focus that we have today, just recently, in fact, I think it was yesterday that it was reported that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, he, of course, being a PDP big man, he has let it be known that and has appealed to the citizens, the good people of Bayelsa, to give a second term to the contestant of the PDP, the incumbent governor. And it's interesting, against the backdrop of what Mr. George from Lagos was just saying there, he says that Bayelsa needs, that Diri should be encouraged to complete a second term in office because of the stability in the state. So that's an interesting one because there are those who are apprehensive about violence, just as you've heard, and as you saw that report where the Ijaw youth, had a peace walk to protest any kind of violence that might try to foment itself. The police have said that they're well in charge. They have asked people not to test their resolve. I guess that's a diplomatic way of saying that we are ready. But the former president has said that in view of the stability in Delta State, that, his political son should be given, that is the contestant of the PDP, he should be given another chance. Yusuf has called in. Good morning, Yusuf.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, I want to, first of all, align with the submission from Mr. George, who called from Lagos. You see, I think this issue of Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and the Labour Party, I think we need to look these two issues in a very holistic manner. Because in the UK, there is what they have Labour Party in their system. And I understand they still, at the same time, they have Labour Union, as we have Nigeria Labour Congress in Nigeria. These two entities are separate entities. So I want to suggest, if you look at the activities of Nigeria Labour Congress, one will tell you that these two parties, between Labour Party and the Labour Union, they are working in synergy. So is it not possible, Nigeria Senate or the Allo Chamber of Nigeria, to look at their function? If these two entities are working together as a political party, as a Labour Union, they should have a distinction in a way. If you are a party or you subject to you carry an entity of a political party, you don't have any issue, any business being a Labour Union activist. Because if you look at what is happening in Imo State. Now, Ajelo as a national president, which accommodated Osomole when he was a president of Nigeria Labour Congress, Osomole has never one day dived himself into politics. He makes sure all the interests of labor, all the labor union, all the workers in Nigeria, he was taking their message to the government, fighting even during the Obasanjo tenure. He fought Obasanjo to start still. He has never come out to be a partisan until 2006 when the tenure expired as NLC president. So if Ajero tried to cripple the activities of Imo State, and majority of Nigerians now who are during the election time, presidential election time, everybody see how they were using the Labour Party secretariat, using that place as their own giving place statement. All this is on ground. Opus Odima is not a baby. He was a senator and is the correct governor of that state. The secretary of that state is under his domain. So if Ajero is coming to Imo State, hiding under the umbrella of Nigeria Labour Congress, at the same time being a party member of Labour Party, I don't think we should look at these two issues in a very dicey way.
All right.
Please.
Okay.
We're Nigeria president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that I know. Now, if Labour want to cripple the activities of this country, want to shut down this economy of Tinubu, not the economy of Imo State, it should not allow it to stand. This man should be called to question. Both the TUC, the NLC, all the ESCO, they should call them to order. Let them know where their bad lies. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling in. And it's an interesting position. It's an interesting point that you are making now. It started off by Mr. George. I dare say that the Nigeria Labour Congress will also have what it wants to say about this. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went to deny categorically these positions that have been put forward. But unfortunately, unless NLC happens to be listening and wants to weigh in on the matter, because these are quite weighty suggestions that have been put on the ground, not perhaps without reason, even if from the point of view of Labour, those, whatever they are looking at might have been misinterpretations. But it's a fair discussion point in the light of how people are perceiving the activities.